Good evening, everyone. Time for another silver update. This is the US dollar versus the Chinese yuan, and I've been pointing out that I was expecting a drop below this support line. We now have it confirmed that the dollar is now doing another down leg against the Chinese currency. It was actually fairly well predicted by this trend line that we have here, because you can see that as soon as we got right to where that trend line was, we turned and went down. So that's the trend. The trend is, I said for the longest time, that the dollar is going 1-to-1 with the Chinese currency and beyond, and there's no indication that this trend is slowing at all. You can see that it's a long trend. We've come all the way from 8.3 and we're now approaching 6. So the dollar is becoming worth less and less. Now, a lot of people argue that it's good to have a weaker currency. Traditionally, that's never been the case. Only modern economists argue such a thing. As the Chinese currency strengthens against the dollar and against other currencies, that means that imports into China are cheaper, especially oil. So their energy inputs are going down. They're still the chief manufacturing nation. That means that they import the raw materials and then they manufacture them and sell them. Now, the prices on the exported goods go up because of the currency, but that's offset by the price of the raw materials. So traditionally, it's always been a good thing to have a strong currency, and the Chinese currency is getting stronger and stronger. The American dollar is getting weaker and weaker. Now, this debt ceiling debate is dragging on, and they're starting to pull out some of the big guns. We talked about how the food stamp glitch, as they termed it, I thought that that was kind of a test run. We now have the news out today. This letter from the USDA going out to the states. This was posted on Zero Hedge, and this letter is telling us that they will not be paying the SNAP payments for the month of November if this debt ceiling issue is not resolved. So that's a pretty scary thing. It's stamped October 11th. It looks legit, and it's being reported from other sources. So it looks like they're starting to crack down on entitlements, and that's to be expected, because when the government wants to go deeper into debt, they will threaten the things that have the most political impact. Now, we also have a potential shutdown of Section 8, and that also is going to happen November 1st. So if they don't get this resolved. Now, Section 8, this is about Massachusetts. A top Massachusetts housing official warned the state will no longer be able to pay landlords rental assistance for low-income tenants if the government shutdown continues through the end of the month. Aaron Gornstein, Massachusetts Undersecretary for Housing and Community Development, said the state is operating on its Section 8 rental assistance money off money that it received before the federal government shut down on October 1st. However, if Congress does not reopen the government, that money will run out. Gornstein's comments come as social service providers and government officials have been trying to warn the public about the long-term impacts of a shutdown, even as many of those impacts are not yet apparent. Even with Section 8 rental assistance program, it's hard to determine the exact impact of the shutdown. Around 20,000 Massachusetts residents get Section 8 vouchers administered by the Massachusetts Department of Housing and Community Development, but around 55,000 Massachusetts residents receive housing vouchers from local housing authorities. So you're going to be looking at a number, say 30 to 50 times that for the whole of the U.S. So we're going to be talking 1 to 2 million that are receiving these housing vouchers. So we add that together with the SNAP